Next one, give a critical account of the reasons and consequences of marine pollution. Oceans are the largest water bodies of the planet Earth. Over the last few decades, surplus or human activities have severely affected the marine life on the Earth's ocean pollution are known as modern marine pollution is the spreading of harmful substances such as oil, plastic, industrial and agricultural waste and chemical property particles in the oceans. Since oceans provide home to a wide variety of marine animals and plants, it is responsible of every citizen to play his or her part in making these oceans so that marine species can thrive for a long period of time. Mining for materials such as copper and gold is a major source of contamination in the oceans. For example, copper is a major source of pollution in the ocean and can interfere with the life cycles of numerous marine organisms and life. Causes of ocean pollution. There are various ways for how pollution enters into the ocean. Sewage pollution can enter the ocean directly. Sewage or polluting substances flow through sewage, rivers, or drainage directly into the ocean. This is often how materials and substances from mining camps and find their way into the ocean. The release of other chemical nutrients into the ocean's ecosystem leads to reduction in oxygen level. The decay of plant life is severe decline in the quality of the seawater itself. As a result, all levels of oceanic life, plants and animals are highly affected. Toxic chemicals from industrial and agricultural waste are another most common form of waste that are directly discharged into the oceans, resulting in ocean pollution. The dumping of toxic liquids in the ocean directly affects the marine life as they are considered hazardous, and secondly, they raise the temperature of the ocean, known as thermal pollution. As the temperature of these liquids is quite high, animals and plants that cannot survive at higher temperature eventually perish. So land runoff is another source of pollution in the ocean. This occurs when water infiltrates the soil to its maximum extent, and the excess water from rain, flooding, or melting flows over the land into the ocean. Oftentimes, these water peaks of man-made harmful contaminants that pollute the oceans, including fertilizers, petroleum, pesticides, and other forms of soil contaminants. Fertilizers and waste from land animals and humans can be a huge detriment to the ocean by creating dead zone. Large-scale well ship pollution is a huge source of ocean pollution, and the most devastating effect of which is oil spills. Crude will last for years in the sea and is extremely toxic to marine life, often suffocating marine animals to death once it entraps them. Crude oil is also extremely difficult to clean up, unfortunately, meaning that when it is played into it is usually ready to stay. In addition, many ships lose thousands of freighters each year due to storms, emergencies, and accidents. This causes noise pollution, excessive, unexpected noise that interrupts the balance of life, most often caused by modes of transportation, excessive algae, and ballast water. Oftentimes, other species can also invade an ecosystem and do harm to it by interrupting the life cycles of other organisms, causing a class of nature that has already been damaged by the overflow of pollution. Ocean mining in the deep sea is yet another are source of ocean pollution. Ocean mining sites drilling for silver, gold, copper, cobalt, zinc creates sulfide deposits up to 3,500 meters down into the sea. While we have yet the gathering of scientific evidences to fully explain the harsh environmental impacts of deep sea mining, we do have a general idea that deep sea mining causes damage to the lowest levels of the ocean and increase the toxicity of the region. This permanent damage dealt also causes leaking, corrosion and oil spill that only drastically further hinder the ecosystem of the region. Littering pollution from the atmosphere is a huge source of ocean pollution. This occurs when objects that are far inland are blown by the wind over long distances and end up in the oceans. These objects can be anything from natural things like dust and sand to man-made objects such as debris and trash. Most debris, especially plastic debris, cannot decompose and remains suspended in the ocean's current for years. Animals can become snagged on the plastic or mistake it for food, slowly killing them over a long period of time. Animals who are most often the victim of plastic debris include turtles, dolphins, fish, sharks, crabs, seabirds, and crocodiles. In addition, the temperature of the ocean is highly affected by carbon dioxide and climate change, which impacts primarily the ecosystem and fish communities that lives in the ocean. In particular, the rising levels of rising levels of CO2 acidity in the ocean in the form of acid rain. Even though the ocean can absorb carbon dioxide that originates from the atmosphere, the carbon dioxide levels are steadily increasing, and the ocean's absorbing mechanism due to rising of the ocean's temperature are unable to keep up with the pace. So, effects of ocean pollution. So, effect of toxic waste on marine animals. Oil spill is dangerous to marine life in several ways. The oil spilled in the ocean could go into the gills and features of marine animals, which makes it difficult for them to move or fly properly or feed their children. The long-term effect of marine life can include cancer, failure in the reproductive system, behavioral change, and even death. Disruption to the cycle of coral reefs. Oil spill floats on the surface of water and prevents sunlight from reaching to marine plants and affects the process of photosynthesis. Skin irritates, eye irritation, lung and liver problems cause impact marine life and long period of time. Depletes oxygen content in water. Most of the debris in the ocean does not decompose and remain in the ocean for years. Reduces oxygen as it degrades. As a result of this, oxygen levels go down. When oxygen levels go down, that changes the chances of survival of marine animals like whales and turtles, snakes, sharks, dolphins, penguins for long life and goes down. Failure in the reproductive system of sea animals. So industrial and agricultural waste include various poisonous chemicals that are considered hazardous for marine life. Chemicals for pesticides can accumulate in the fatty tissue of animals, leading to failure in their reproductive system. Effect on cold food chain. So chemicals used in industry or agriculture get washed into the rivers and they are carried into the oceans. These chemicals do not get dissolved and sink at the bottom of the ocean. Small animals ingest these chemicals and are later eaten by the larger animals, which then affects the whole food chain. Affects human health. Animals from impacted food chain are then eaten by humans, which affects their health, or as toxins from these contaminated animals get deposited in the tissues of people and can lead to cancer, birth defects, and long-term health problems. Thank you.